Welcome, 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 everybody. It's your girl Delores, just a pink girl in her pink world, here on YouTube with the good brother J.News. J.News, do you got something to tell the good people?
Uh, yeah, it's Sunday. Today is the day of the big game here in the United States of America. So people are going to be getting their grub on and get all festive for this yearly event that goes down. But we are here to do what we do best, and that's talk the week that was in professional wrestling. So, as per the usual, folks, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your good brother J.News, back at it again here on the Hit the Ropes podcast with the lovely Dolores. And we've got things to discuss. We've got wrestling shows to go over and review. And then, on top of everything else, if you are new to the channel, we will be spotlighting a particular wrestler at the end of our stream so that you guys are a little bit more aware of that particular wrestler, or for us to discuss how their week has gone and things of that nature. So, yeah.
Listen, you all know the excitement that I had and the inner screaming and the little outer screaming I had for one particular show and one particular man this week, okay? But we'll get to that in a minute, okay? J.News might got a hint because I've been holding that flag for my boy for the past few months and he proved me right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into well, we call them slides here. The review and preview of the week. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the reviews. Review. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, time to review this thing. We're gonna start off with WWE. If you haven't remembered, ladies and gentlemen, every Monday it is Dolores' Raw Reaction with your girl Dolores here, and we watch Raw. Okay? So we're going to start off with Raw 1654 on the 3rd, which is on Netflix. We had Penta defeat Ludwig Kaiser. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeating the LWO of Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Liv Morgan, with the help of Raquel Rodriguez, defeated Io Sky by DQ. Uh, we had Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The one, the only CM Punk defeating Sami Zayn. J.News, did you see any of this and what did you think?
I saw bits and pieces of this. I was wondering how they were going to go about the qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber, and they started right off the bat. So that came into play. You know, Liv Morgan winning her match with interference from Rhea Ripley, that is, costing Io Sky the match. Rhea tried to apologize to Io by the end of the match, but Io wasn't having it. So there might be some rumblings there of a future matchup between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. So look out for that, folks. The CM Punk defeating Sami Zayn thing. If folks aren't aware, if they are aware, whatever, I'll just state it here. I checked out of CM Punk a long time ago. It was just one of those things where, from a behind the scenes aspect, from an on camera aspect, it's like everything got old real quick for me. And at one point, I understood the role that he played in the wrestling lexicon, being the voice of the voiceless, but he is no longer the voice of the voiceless. I feel like he's become the wrestler that he always shunned and or talked down on at the end of the day. So, you know, you last long enough, or your career is long enough now where you become what you initially stated you hated. So that's where I'm
But
at with CM Punk.
I believe as on the Workhorse Wrestling Network, they say I cape for CM Punk. It's not a cape. I would like to say I believe he doesn't have a filter. I can understand that because I personally sometimes I'm learning, but there's sometimes you catch me on a day where it's like a troll can come in here and I could be like, oh, okay, have a good day. And then you catch me on other days where the filter is off and I'm like, bump you, blah, 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 blah. But that's because that filter is on go. And when describes his childhood, describes his experiences with people, he has this, which I can understand, the don't trust anybody attitude. I
I mean,
I can say it, but I can't trust you to listen. All I wanted to do was I talked my smack. I was gonna get married. I got fired on my day. You know what I'm saying? Then I decided to tell my truth. I get sued for it. My friend then lets a lie would just it went on for decades. You let a lie go a long way. Even when we stop being friends, you let this lie go around the world 29 times. And then one day I decide, hey, I done had about enough. And I tell the truth and I'm wrong in this situation. That's where people I think don't understand is that there's a certain point where he did sometimes abide by the rules and do the cordial thing, but then he stopped being cordial, and that showed more light than it did him being quiet. There are times where when he left AEW and got fired, he was just like, "I'm not gonna say nothing. I don't want to talk about that." They kept talking. They showed the footage. He started opening his mouth. I think at a certain point, when he's quiet, stop kicking him. He'll keep quiet. When you keep, poking and poking and poking, he then says something, that whole take his ball and go home and stuff. It irritates him to the point where he's like, okay, I'm going to say something. And the hangman situation, when you look at it, had to do over something he believed that was not clarified.
mm-hmm.
Because in the end, when CM Punk stood on that stage, he said, I have proof. I got emails and messages. I got this and that. He slapped it on the table, and still the person involved did not say, hey, yeah, this happened. I was hurt and my friend did this, but I didn't clarify. I did not clarify. I let it just go around. And then I believe he had a conversation with the Young Bucks and Heyman and Page, because you can't let this lie go this far to your bosses. And your bosses are mad about this lie that and there's a fight. At least to clarify it after the fight. But no, you let stuff keep going, you let stuff keep going. And I think there's a point where even when Kenny kind of was like, I reached out to him, we had a conversation, da da da. What Kenny was like, somebody got to be the bigger person in this. Somebody got to be the adult he claimed wasn't in the room.
But that's the key. That's the key in everything you just explained, Dolores. Somebody's got to be the bigger person. He's never been the bigger person.
He's not gonna do that, especially
He's
when
he's petty. He's
yeah,
petulant when he wants to be, and he's
yes.
not mature. For a 47-year-old man. He lacks a certain amount of freaking maturity, and
At
that
a
to
certain
me,
at a certain
has,
point, you got to realize when you have been done wrong so many times, you ain't gonna apologize. I'm through. He probably has apologized enough. I have been in that situation in life where I've apologized enough where at a certain point, I'm not gonna back down. I'm not
I'm a
gonna stop.
me in my personal life, and I can say this because of it's in my own personal experience. I've been a serial apologist my entire life because I've always wanted people to like me. Yes, here, there, and the other. And I can understand the other side of it because it's like, oh, I'm tired of having to apologize for shit. But there's also something to be said about accountability, and
Yeah,
he lacks that.
I think he
He
takes
lacks that.
accountability after the fact. Like
Nah, it
he
can't
doesn't.
be after the fact, Dolores. It can't be two,
It
3 years after the fact. Like it can
sometimes
be
I
immediate
can tell you as a
because it's
person
not going to matter.
who holds a grudge sometimes.
Yeah,
And some of
can't be
y'all
doing
know
that.
what I'm talking about. When you
Can't be
hold
doing
that
that.
grudge until it's gone.
Can't be
It's
doing
like
that,
he held
man.
that grudge with WWE till it was gone.
Yeah, it
But
took 10 years.
It took
10
10
years. It took 10 years and a freaking. It took 10 years
and a good
and
paycheck.
and 10 years, a bigger paycheck, and a change in administration for him to come back.
But
At no
honestly,
point,
the things that people kicked his back in about, he was like, the culture and the people around here suck. Even with
sure, and it
AEW, he
did,
was
and he
like, the
wasn't
culture and the people around here suck.
he
And
wasn't wrong about it. But at the end of the day, it
it's the way
makes
he
him. It
says it.
is the way he says it, and on top of everything else, after the aftermath of everything, waiting stuff out at times and whatnot. Like I understand it can be the more strategic move and this, that, and the third, but it's like, dude is just old at this point. It's
The only thing
old.
I wish would regret is now we doing this. He left us. He left us, and he
I
never.
don't. I don't
My
think
thing about
that's.
it. No, when Seth said you took your ball and go home.
I mean, that's
No, he
stupid.
got fired. Are we skipping the fact that this man got fired?
That's storyline crap at the end of the day. But for me, um, it
Seth
just.
Seth has said in personal interviews
Mhm.
he truly feels that way. He says I reached out to this man.
He did.
He did not
Absolutely.
respond back to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like he took his ball and went home. And at that point, when Seth keeps saying he took his ball and went home, I'm like, sir, he got fired. Where was he supposed to come back and just sit in the creative
Yeah,
room?
but the thing is, he didn't ask CM Punk to come back to the WWE. He asked Phil Brooks, his friend, to have a conversation with him, and he
But he
wouldn't
also
allow him.
he also said in a recent interview, well, we weren't on this level where we were friends. He was my mentor, kinda, and
Mhm.
I was reaching out to him just to see how he was doing. If y'all are not friends and that's your mentor, tell me, if somebody worked for you and you get fired, do you feel like the obligation to keep talking to them? No, you just
You
say,
you
chalk the
don't
deuces,
You
go.
don't, Dolores, but at the end of the day, if you did have some sort of a mentor-mentee relationship, that has more to do with that has less to do with the professional environment you were in and has more to do with the time that you spent and invested in somebody. And that's where I feel, personal opinion, you owe someone the respect at least to respond to them. Don't be a dick about it
Listen,
and
I
go
worked
off
at a
the
company
freaking
for 10 plus
reservation.
years, and literally we could see people in the street and I'd be like, I don't know you. Let's keep it moving. Because the thing about it is some people, and I can say for me, could be the Gemini in me. Work is work. Work is work.
That's fair,
I
Dolores.
don't separate work and friendship. If you're my friend because you've been on my house. I gotten to know you. We cool. You done met my family. We are great. With Seth and them is I only see you at work. And
Yeah,
so when I no longer work at that job, I no longer want to see you in my life.
but you have to. I think there's a differentiation here because it's not all black and white. There's too much gray in the area. Wrestlers in the industry that they're in, it's not just work. They spend so much time with one another. You can't the separation between the two, as you can see now in 2025, where wrestlers just marry wrestlers, right? Which that wasn't even the case anymore, right? Using that as a correlation, you spend so much time together. That's not just work anymore. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's where the line is very thin in that
I
particular
think that's
aspect.
where there's a difference because I take that everywhere. There are people who I know, meet, have conversations in chats
Mhm.
that are chats. I would not be the first person to be like, they're my friend. I see them every day. We speak. Hey, how you doing? How's your kid? How did your plant go? How does it? We're not friends. On the other hand, me and Ruby speak each other in chats. Me and Ruby talk on the phone.
Mhm.
Ruby has my mama's phone number.
Mhm.
We are pet. I know her mama. You know what I'm saying? We are friends. Those other people, it's a social construct where we are together every day, but I don't consider them friends. I consider there's a difference between an associate
No,
and a
that,
friend.
that's fair.
And
You're
I think in
you're-
Punk's head, it's that you were an associate. You were
yeah,
attached to a company, and I was trying to raise you into a position where you can go against me and we have these good battles.
but here's the thing.
Once I left, I don't have that association with you no more.
Here's the thing about what you're saying. When it comes to time investment, there's a big differentiating factor between the associate and the friend, right? When it comes
Yeah,
to time investment. And I
yeah.
think that's where it all lies. And plus, I have a real unique and gut feeling that there was no transparency between how one party felt and how the other felt.
Yes.
That's how falling outs happen. And that and I will uh end on that side. I've just at this point
And then also,
um
as a grown adult, you have to take responsibility.
and
If
he
nobody
doesn't.
is
That's my
reaching out,
biggest thing. That's my biggest thing about CM Punk. There's no
yeah, it's
accountability.
like I think also on self's end, if a person's not calling you, they're not reaching out to you,
That's
and you reach
fine.
out to them and they don't respond, don't keep reaching out.
No, and mind you, like he said, he stated in an interview he didn't, and all that stuff. Because I think all of us as human beings have gone through that whole rigmarole, whatever the case is, and
It's like you have to treat people like a girl, or boyfriend, or girlfriend, or whoever. You
that
have
shit
to.
is
You
that shit
reach
is
out.
annoying.
If they ghost you, don't keep calling them.
That shit
Listen,
is
I've
annoying.
I've had that experience where I'm like, okay, I don't want this. I don't want to see you. It was a nice day, great. And they calling your phone. They calling your phone. They calling your phone. And you like, did you not get to hear when I said I don't want to speak to you? Like, what part of this? What part of this
But,
was not clear to you?
but
Okay.
Dolores, be like here's and we'll get to the next point after the fact. Sometimes the other person doesn't tell the other person, I don't want to speak to you. They just cut off communication altogether.
Actions speak louder than words sometimes. Actions speak louder than
Yeah,
words
but
sometimes.
that's where the communication part of it comes into play. If you're a shit communicator, I can't help you
Yeah.
in this case, and that's CM Punk's problem. That's my that's and
That,
that's my
that that is
personal,
his problem. He does
that's
have a
my
problem
personal
with
opinion.
communicating with people.
Yeah,
It's more he waits, and I can tell you as a Gemini, it
no,
happens to me. You wait till it swells up,
not that.
explodes, and then by then it's too late. Even with that Jack Perry stuff, it's like the moment he looked at Tony, it was almost like he was trying to communicate to him, stop this. And Tony sat there, and then when it escalates, and to me, and this is why I tell everybody who has that argument, if somebody walks up in your face in the street, I know good and doggone well I ain't gonna give you a chance to hit me. That's not gonna happen. So once you and he doing all the flicking of the hair and stuff, to from where I'm from, that's disrespectful. So at that moment, you're losing some of your 32 teeth. And at that moment, I think most people don't think of that way. They just think of this is wrestlers, these are two wrestlers, but they two human men and they talking to each other in a not nice way. And you come in my face, this is what's gonna happen.
Right. That's and yet again, that was a scenario, and like I said, that and that's a fair assessment of everything. A lot of that could have been avoided, and that's where and yet again, it's not like I'm a CM Punk hater and I'm gonna like trash the dude. There's just stuff about how he handles things
I mean the
that
dude can be
I don't agree with.
P.
But
He can be a hole real bad. And I can admit to that, but I also see the qualities of he just had a rough life and he's used to dealing with people a certain type of way.
yeah, but that's a
Now
shit way
you're in
to
a
deal with it.
professional environment, you can't do that. But I can also understand why he does what he does. It's like,
I understand the why doesn't necessarily make it right. Is what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's just a shit way to go about doing things. But
yeah.
I'll say this one thing about the Tony Khan situation, where he said that Tony Khan's a good guy but a bad boss, or whatever the case is. CM Punk said that about Tony
Yeah,
Khan. I agree,
yeah.
right? But and you were talking specifically about the whole situation with Jack Perry and whatnot. Outside of Samoa Joe stepping in to quell the physical altercation, someone should have had already been in tow to mediate what was happening before it even happened, and that didn't happen. So that's there shows the lack of leadership that CM Punk is talking about, which is a fair point. But at the end of the day, he didn't help matters.
And
And
then
all
it didn't help that you showed this video.
I
You
mean,
refuted what CM Punk said, and then you showed the video, and it pretty much showed what he said. And I was like, why show the video? It makes you look bad at this point.
it's at the end of the day, that's human beings being human beings because everybody has their perspective about how things went down,
Yeah,
right? And so they tried to use the footage itself as a piece of
the storyline.
storytelling or whatever the case is, to advance a particular storyline or at least create the character, which then
It
molded.
made me so mad. That's what really turned me against the Bucks because I used to be a diehard Bucks fan. Even in like the whole situation, I was like, well, Two wrongs don't make a right, okay? But at a certain point, I was like, you coming back talking about you traumatized from a fight where you wrestle every day and risk your life. This storyline ain't working for me. You seem like you some peas. And I can't deal with that. Then they started the weird dressing and the pearl necklaces, and I was just like, at this point, I'm over you all. I really am. I
because
miss the cool book.
they are unserious human beings,
They
which is
are
why
unserious, but that
they're
took it
unserious
to a
human
whole
beings.
new level when they
Yeah.
were like, I think about this thing that happened to me every day. It kind of traumatized. And I'm like,
Some people are like
"Girl,
that though.
you play fight for a living and you super kick people in the face. What traumatizing was that?
Some people are like that when real stuff happens and it's out of their control and it's a situation where they feel like everything is going to be spun negatively or whatever. That particular situation then becomes either the crutch to whatever they're going to be doing in the future, or something that they hold a grudge with and stuff like that, which is something that, over the years, as a human being, me personally, um, it just holding grudges and spending time in that particular space is just not healthy for anybody. And if you,
I think Omega gets points from Punk A because he tried to save the dog, and B because he just ran in there and didn't want nothing to do with the fight. He didn't want to fight at all. All he
because
wanted to do was
he
make
didn't have
sure
a
the
side.
women and the dog were fine. That's
He
it.
didn't have a side. He was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. No
When
one told him what was going on because he wasn't
when
involved.
Punk's friend bit him like a rabid dog in the night, I thought that was ironic. He was trying to save the dog but got bit by a human being. How does it happen?
It because people don't know how to act in particular
Nah,
situations.
J.News, take that statement back. It's not that people don't know how to act. That's when people don't know how to fight. When
No,
you
no,
don't know how to fight, that's the best you can
both things can be true, Dolores. Both things can be true.
do.
At the end of the day, people don't know how to act. They don't. Folks don't know how to act, but at the same time, folks don't know. So at the same time, your point is also valid. People don't know how to fight, so they got to do what they feel is best, right?
They
At
were
this,
throwing
at this
chairs and
particular
biting
situation.
folks. That's the best they could do. And I mean,
It is.
I can't even blame them. If you don't know how to fight, listen, I'm gonna tell you something that my mother taught me a long time ago. If you walk in a room, identify at least 5 to 10 things you can fight with. Okay, it shouldn't be no reason why you should clearly get stomped out unless it's a group of people or on a one-on-one fight. You at least should get 1 or 2 good licks in. Okay, ain't no way you could just get stomped out 1-on-1 and it'd be okay. It's too much stuff in here for me to be losing a fight like that. No.
Yeah, it's the history of it all, or the histrionics of it all, and the specific instances and situations
Yeah.
that have included CM Punk over the years, not just what happened in AEW, his exit from WWE, just like the things that you would read about, how he would respond to things or whatever the case is, and or treat certain people. It's like, yeah, man, enough is enough for me. I'm
Yeah.
speaking for myself. Like, enough is enough.
Yeah, I
Um,
was a fan because he was out of the box. His interviews also kind of were like, oh, I get to he's just gonna tell it like it is every time he open his mouth. Whereas I love Cody, but Cody gives me too much professional. They on opposite sides.
hmm.
CM Punk is gonna be like, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Cody is like, I should say that I shouldn't say this, and I'm not. I'm gonna dance around it 29 times. And I'm like, say it, say it. And he like even with this whole leaving AEW thing. Oh well, it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of my wife. I don't like the way they treated my wife or the things that happened toward the end. And then I'm like, sound like it had something to do with your wife. And then you took your EVP. Like what just say it. Like you don't work there no more. It's like you don't want to burn a bridge because you have friends over there, yes, but you didn't have that same kind of mentality when you were burning WWE down.
Because if you, I think this is the ultimate learning experience when it comes to pro wrestling. Like, a lot of that stuff becomes water under the bridge after time passes. And so, with all that being said, if something you mentioned earlier about being the adults in the room, It's like if people can't sit down and have a conversation and clear the air about shit or whatever the case is, what's the point of being? What's the point of living life
Because
amongst?
this Drew LA Knight stuff has
We're
come
jumping
out
too much, but we'll get there when we get to SmackDown.
right now. Yeah. I think they've handled that
Yeah.
pretty okay. The Penta match with Ludwig, I enjoyed it because I enjoy seeing Penta. Again, anytime Penta can creep walk down the aisle, it makes me excited. Because once he hit that little slow stroll, and I don't listen, and then the whole glove thing when he slowly pulls it off, like that, his whole character, ever since Lucha Underground, has had my heart. And the fact that he can snap people's arm back, I mean, that's a move I want to try in real
I'm just glad he's on a big platform, and that it seems like he's going to enjoy a certain level of success. I don't watch enough of live WWE programming to understand what his place on the roster is at this point. I just know he's the new shiny toy, and he's on this bigger platform, and people are getting exposed to him, and that's good for his career at the end of the day. And I'm
Honestly, it's a business move. What
yeah,
they're doing is they're targeting markets.
yeah.
And so that's why Rey Mysterio, even though he loses a lot, is on LWO is on a lot. Zelina is on a lot. Then you have NXT, you have Stephanie Valkyria and Julia. They're hitting certain markets and they're bringing even with running the Mexico shows they had
Hmm.
for like those couple of days. That's something that they did, but they didn't do it like for a week or two back to back. Those they're hitting these markets and they want to keep it where a lot of people are buying now because they see representation. Just like when we see Bianca and Jade or Bianca and Naomi, people are buying tickets. They're like I told you last week. There was a little girl that was crushed because that was her first show in Atlanta that she had went to as a kid,
Hmm.
and she saw her favorite black girls lose, and she was devastated when she went back to school. So it's like they see now if I put this representation on TV and they click with the audience, money flows. That Penta mask, that Penta attire and stuff is just flowing and running everywhere. The LWO is still making money from what they're doing. Damian Priest, you have these people who hit these markets, and then now you have superstars who are from other countries that now you are putting as the face on the posters.
Hmm.
Some people are like, well, Cody be on most of the posters. Well, I hate to say it, but Cody can just he melts to every country he goes to.
He's the face of the company at the end of the day, and he's a
Yeah,
champion.
I
That's what.
mean, but no, he will. He changes his attire to their colors. He, goes out in the community and wants to quote unquote hang out with them. He does this because he shape shifts to wherever he at. He's a chameleon. He
Um,
does it.
I will
He
agree
went
with
to
you.
England and rode on the bus and ate the food and wore the outfit and had all the people screaming, "Whoa!" He's been to Puerto Rico and that's why we call him Gonzalez Rose, because all of a sudden he was like, "Puerto Rico is my country." Like he keeps going places
Yeah,
and he mails over there.
he's doing his job.
And so I can't right now I can't see Roman Reigns definitely didn't do it. But I
No,
can't see anybody who can shapeshift or be a chameleon like that in WWE.
no, no. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, he's doing his job. Uh,
Listen, and him and his wife when they were doing a little press down here in Georgia, I thought it was so cute. So the New Day, I'm still over them. Still over them. I'm waiting for Big E to come back because that's what it seems like.
there was the the bit of information that came out during the week about the New Day's theme song, the new theme song that they have, that it was composed by longtime WWE theme composer Jim Johnston or whatever. And I remember I played the YouTube clip back of the New Day match versus the LWO, and I listened to the entrance theme, and I still didn't like the theme.
No, I didn't.
Regardless of the fact of who it was composed by, I was like, yeah, this still not jiving with me. So it is what it is. And I know they can't keep the old New Day entrance theme song. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, even this doesn't appeal to me or whatever. But maybe it gets over with time. But yeah, that bit of information I wanted to get out there. Some fans were very excited about it, that they thought that Jim Johnson was going to come back to the WWE, but it was just a one-off thing for the New Day.
It need to be a zero off for them because look at them and look at music. They don't match. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to NXT. Let's go back in the background. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am trying to hold up. It's probably gonna be 5 more cups of coffee, and then I'll probably get there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, on NXT. It was NXT 771 on the 4th on the CW. Stephanie Vaquera defeated JC Jane. Rich Holland defeated Channing Lorenzo. Sol Ruka and Zarya defeated Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. Carmen Petrovich defeated Kalani Jordan. A-Town Down Under, which was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, defeated Oba Femi and Trick Williams. J.News, did you see any of this, or do you have anything to say about it?
I didn't, and and this is a I didn't see this because WWE socials this week seemed to be a bit inconsistent. Specifically when it came to NXT, there wasn't a lot of feedback and or projection or exposure of this week's episode of NXT online. And I was wondering really as to what happened or why it happened. So there's that main reason, because I don't ever get to watch NXT live on the CW. So I'm glad that the ladies are still holding it down at NXT. Because as you can tell, out of the 5 matches that were on the card, 3 of them had the women.
Yeah, the
So
women's division is good there. I would say they need to keep it up. Shawn Michaels is doing a good job with the women. The men, it seems like we're just gonna throw some stuff together and we're gonna figure that out.
yeah, it's
But
the
for those who don't know, we did have some cuts in the main
right.
roster, and
Yeah, we'll get through that by the end of the WWE stuff.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was an okay show. I'm not gonna say it was the greatest. I'm not gonna say run back and go to see it, but it was okay, serviceable, as we say in our thing. Ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown. Yay, we're on SmackDown. SmackDown was, yes, on the 7th. It was 13:29 on USA Network. We had an elimination chamber. Sorry, qualifying match. Bianca Belair defeated Piper Niven. A non-title tag team match. Pretty Deadly defeated DIY. We had an Elimination Chamber qualifying triple threat match where Drew McIntyre defeated Jimmy Uso and LA Knight. Carmelo Hayes defeated Akira Tozawa. An Elimination Chamber match, Alexa Bliss came back and defeated Candice LeRae. And last but not least, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeated Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
Jay News, you got anything to say about SmackDown?
Uh, cool enough for Bianca to be on her way to the Elimination Chamber. I figured that was a specific way they were going to go. Glad to see Pretty Deadly back in the ring. I love those guys. They're hella entertaining, and they do good work inside the ring and outside of the ring. So this will be a quite the juxtaposition between the personalities in this new feud that's coming about in the tag team division. Why all the while the Street Profits are lurking. And then we had they basically walked into whatever the murmurings were about Drew McIntyre being angry after the Royal Rumble at LA Knight. They played into that during the pre promo segment before the match even started. And then the triple threat went down the way that I thought it was going to go down, because Drew McIntyre is just a billing above Jimmy Uso and LA Knight at this point. Carmelo Hayes getting his first win, finally, against Akira Tozawa. You know, that is what that is. Akira Tozawa, because I've been watching him for a long period of time outside of the WWE, with all his years at Dragon Gate and understanding how good of a professional wrestler he is. I understand he serves his role in the WWE, And he's basically used as enhancement talent and as a comedy act. The the role suits him and everything else in between. I would just like to see more for Tozawa in the long run. But I get what they did here for Carmelo Hayes, because Carmelo Hayes, they have a bright future and plan for. So that is what that is. And walking into Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae, why would you ever think that Candice LeRae would win a match against the returning Alexa Bliss? Makes no sense to me, but they had to make it happen. And then Cody and Jey Uso, former tag team champions, if you can believe that, defeating Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Yeah, the setup there, it wasn't the strongest, because at the beginning of they started the show with Jey Uso. He came out. He wanted to talk to Cody about what his thought process was about who he was going to pick to face off at WrestleMania with. And then Jacob and Tama Tonga came down. Wasn't one of Jacob's strongest promos in recent weeks, but it still worked. And then they ended up at this particular main event. And then after the main event is over, they there was a reveal where Solo is now back. I don't know how the Solo part fits into what's going on currently on the road to WrestleMania. Maybe it's just the pit stop at Elimination Chamber for Solo Sikoa, but and Cody Rhodes. But I know there was a lot of uproar online about the why are we doing this? Why are we going back to Solo versus Cody? And it's like, you got to let it happen to see as to what's taking place. Because for me,
Because if you
it-
remember,
it's going
the
to serve a
reason
purpose.
why Solo turned on Roman was he couldn't beat Cody.
Sure.
And if you notice, the version of the Ula Fala has been worn by uh, Jacob,
A
and
version.
so
Mhm. Yeah.
and so he is kind of been leading it, and they kind of been doing good without Solo.
Mhm.
So now that Solo's back, if he loses one more time, hey, Tempest Creek and more. If he loses one more time, then that shows that you're a weak leader. And he's probably gonna turn against Solo too.
I mean, we'll see. I think at this point, with how everything is situated currently, um, the bloodline storyline isn't the main character of the show. So that's why, especially walking into WrestleMania 49. So that's why I think there was a lot of uproar with Solo. Some people feel like Solo did a good job while he was doing the Bloodline 2.0 thing, but
Mm-mm.
other people thought that he didn't. People are always going to have differentiating opinions and stuff like that or whatever. But in this case, when I saw the clip and I was like, what? When I saw the clip, I was like, who and what is this for? Necessarily. Um, and if we're not concentrating on the bloodline storyline overall, why is Solo back in the mix? Um, like he lost, to Ulafala. He couldn't beat Cody beforehand, and he never became WWE Universal Champion and stuff like that. So it's like him running in and doing the job on Cody or doing the bid here. Um, it just I don't know.
You remember
It
back
makes
in
sense.
the day, every opportunity one of the bloodline had, Roman would come and take it.
Sure.
Are we talking about WWE? We're going over SmackDown and WWE's product as of now.
Mhm.
Now we're gonna go on to AEW, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
AEW.
before we go on to the AEW stuff, Dolores, let's touch on the releases that happened over the last 48
Yeah,
to 2 hours. The WWE releases. There were according to reports via the wrestling journalists and the online community, things of
yeah.
that.
I looked at Fightful because they the
Yeah,
most reliable.
amazing how people would think that Fightful was the most reliable of all the sites, with all the grief that they get. But 10 WWE superstars currently have been 9 of them have been confirmed to have been released. There's one of them that there's still some doubt about. So of the 10, we have the authors of Pain, Precious Paul Ellering. Sonia Deville was told that her contract will not be renewed, but she will be allowed to finish out her contract for the remainder of however long she has on it. So I think she still has some TV appearances to make, but Sonia Deville's contract will not be renewed.
Yeah.
And then we also have the Good Brothers were released, even though Carl's currently hurt. Carl Anderson, that is. They haven't been on TV since Carl got hurt on NXT. There was also the release of Blair Davenport, aka B. Priestley. She was released, and there was seemed to have been a comment made, or a posting, should I say? There was a posting made by Isla Dawn on her Instagram saying that she's not going to be, she's not around for a long time, but only for a good time. And then she had hashtag see you in 90 days. But in accordance to what Fightful has been reporting, they've been trying to get in contact with people in the WWE, and nobody's been able to confirm that Isla Dawn was actually released from her WWE contract.
I know that they talked about it. Um, from my understanding, not through Fightful, a lot of these people were injured, and a lot of these people were consistently injured, or were not clicking storyline wise or character wise, and that's why they were let go. And some of these people who had even been used recently, that was kind of like last chance to figure it out, and it wasn't clicking. As far as to the question in the chat, we came on early, Ruby, because Super Bowl is at 6:30, and I have a Super Bowl live at 6:30 here on the channel. So we'll talk about it a little later on. But yeah, just this episode, if there's something major going on, then we'll come on a little bit early. But we, instead of leaving y'all hanging, we want to make sure we come on a little earlier.
I also didn't. Before I forget, and I don't know why I forgot, because he was the first one that was mentioned about getting a release. Cedric Alexander was also released from the WWE.
And
Um,
Duke Hudson too, right? Yeah.
yeah. So and yeah, well, Duke was a week ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Only
um,
person I feel truly bad for is Cedric Alexander because, as explained on Sean Rossap by Sean Rossap on Friday night, he did not like the way his wife was treated in AEW.
who would?
Um, he didn't like the ending. As explained, some husbands and wives are like, you handle your business,
Right.
I handle mine.
Right.
But he didn't like that overall. Even looking on a personal side from me, even looking at the Hurt Syndicate as of now, I can understand if they were like big popping booming, I would be like, okay, let me take my butt over there. But that might not be the case. The indies are a good choice, as we'll talk about on a show we were going to review a little down the line. That's an option for people now, because now you can be on Triller TV, or a lot of the YouTube channels are popping off, a lot of subscription stuff. So you're getting a lot of eyes now on the indies, compared to going to the other major network. I would say the only company I would stay away from is NWA. And even though I love them, this whole Eric Bischoff running MLW does not work for me.
I would want to say this, just as I would when we were talking about the CM Punk thing, and there being adults in the room,
Yeah.
right? When it comes to Cedric Alexander, immediately reports came out where the things were said where there are going to be several people in the AEW locker room to push for Cedric Alexander to be signed at AEW. If that is to be believed, yet again, this is all speculation, it's all rumor. If that is to be believed, to Dolores's point, obviously Cedric Alexander not liking as to what the outcome was with what happened with his wife and everything else in between. If that is the case, be the adults in the room. Is all I have to say about that.
I
Be the
think
adult
I
in the
don't think
room.
Cedric would accept anything more than a public apology because Tony
Yeah,
Khan
like I
publicly
said,
disrespected.
be the adults in the room. However you settle that is however it needs to be settled. If the choice and outcome is to be Cedric Alexander being signed to AEW, if you feel he's going to be that much of an asset, then be the adult in the room, clear the air, do what you
Tony.
need to do in order to clear the air,
I
and
think
then
that's where Tony and CM Punk are both the same people. When they petty, and they ain't gonna let up off they petty.
we'll see, because at this point, right, he's the boss, right? Like I said before, but somebody needs to be the adult in the room. And if it
Yeah.
takes those three gentlemen who did team with Cedric Alexander to be the adults in the room,
Yeah,
and
because
then it has
Bobby
to,
Lashley had already explained in the interview that he would like Cedric. He think he's misused in WWE and
yeah.
would like him to come over.
So
But
that
it's the fact that you mistreated and publicly disrespected his wife
at the end of the day,
and made it seem like she was the problem. And essentially, she had to spill her own tea. Like, you wanted to smoke with us, you wanted to have a good time with us. And she had to spill her own tea, even about her health and about her uh, smoking habits or whatever.
it's
And
just
it kind of counted
necessary
against
for her
her a little
disease.
bit.
Yeah, it's
Huh?
necessary. It's necessary for the pain management of her disease.
Yeah.
It's not something that
But
she does.
but as far as like that was something she kept privately. But once
Understood.
Tony disrespected her, she was like, "Hey, but you the boss who wants to smoke with us and have a good time with us and do all this stuff." And then it's like, "Oh, but then in the wrestling world, that's a no. But you can do it now. But it was back then. It wasn't necessarily allowed because that was during the Vince
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yet,
But
yet
it
again,
counted against her. But I understand with her being as sick as she is, like not being able to do it. But once Triple H took over, I would have liked to seen her come in. And but
we're
because
yet again the point I'm trying to make, and that's a fair point, but I don't think, to be honest, and me watching her wrestle over the years outside of AEW as well.
I think he could do good work of wrestling. I don't know if you know that Ashe Wrestling is now doing their
Right.
YouTube where they're showing the
Mhm.
episodes and they're getting a lot of more people.
Mhm.
If you all go to Workhouse Wrestling Network, there are a couple of episodes when they first started. I think around the first episode they had in North Carolina, CM went and she was like, it was packed, it was fun,
Yeah.
me, and so I think that might be a good option for him to do because
He'll do that because it's close to home at the end of the day.
yeah.
So that's a thing. But I just wanted to say, um if it's going to take a a community board of people to build the bridge and bridge the gap between whatever happened, and let bygones be bygones, or hash it the fuck out and move forward, get it done, if that's what you want, if that's what you want to happen at
Yeah,
the
and
end.
plus I think Swole is the type of person if they offer him enough money, she can be like, do what you have to do for you. Personally,
That's fair, but I
the way
think,
he disrespected. If that was my mate, I would never be able to do it because it's like you tried to humiliate and disrespect and try to belittle my wife and her talents, and you gonna have to either say that publicly, you sorry, or I can kick you in the face, and either one of them you can choose.
yeah,
And
no, like, to your point, like I said, they're gonna have to build that bridge and bridge that gap, however they need to do it, if the final outcome is gonna be him getting signed to AEW.
yeah, and AEW had since we were getting on to AEW, they had a release, but it was due to the person having
Yeah,
domestic
that's
violence.
yeah, that's a different animal
Yeah,
altogether.
they had a domestic violence case. And so after that, I mean, but it's been like a little uproar on the internet for people who don't like AEW. And I'm like,
What does that have to
they're
do with
like
the company?
because
It's got nothing to
some
do with
people
the
are
company.
going back to like um some issues with Darby and some other people that they've had.
These
And
are
so
personal issues. These are personal issues for these people at the end of
yeah,
the day. Understandably
and,
so. Yes, they work for AEW, but
yeah.
AEW did not go make them do what they did in their personal lives.
Yeah,
Let's get
and
that
so
clear.
it's not about them doing the personalized. I think what they're saying is you fired this man because he had this thing, which he did because his
Mhm.
tag team partner even said Sean reported on live Friday that when he contacted his tag team partner said he had been in contact with the victim
Yeah.
and that he felt bad about what happened. And that his partner deserved what he got.
Yeah, and I mean, look, at the end of the day, he deserves what he got. I think the reporting of it, and this is not coming from Fightful. When I saw the reporting of it all, um,
He wrapped
it
his hands around her throat.
no. I'm not getting into the details because that's unnecessary. The reporting of it was that he was arrested in January, for assault, not domestic assault or whatever the case. Or no, should I say it wasn't even domestic battery? It was just battery in general,
Yeah.
based on it was battery, based on strangulation. And the word domestic wasn't anywhere in that report. And I was like, wait a minute, but what happened necessarily? And then maybe a day later, I saw the details of it all or whatever the case is, and I was like, why wasn't this reported to me from a macro standpoint? I was like, why wasn't this reported as domestic battery? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Because it could have been when the third party showed up, both parties were like, we not in a relationship, we not talking. And then that makes it two strangers instead of
You're not
that's
strangers.
my girlfriend, that's my boyfriend. We just had an argument. He put his hands on like
And
that kind of
it
thing.
wasn't the first time either, from according to
Yeah,
what.
so that's the thing about it. That's how they probably handle situations. Like, okay, we know the police is calling.
Yeah,
This is
no,
what we're gonna say because we
that's
don't
their
want you to
fault.
get in trouble. And then that's how it's been going up until this time, which I think she has left him. And so now it's
That's the hope.
totally come out that, this is what he does to her.
Yeah.
Before it was a repeated pattern, like this would happen, it would be just a battery or assault or whatever. And then they would get together, things would be dropped because the person didn't want to file charges and stuff.
Mhm.
And he kept doing this cycle until this time where she's like, I'm done. And also, for most people who don't know, laws have changed. Once you call, it's no longer in your hands.
Correct.
So at a certain point, it's no longer in her hands
Yeah.
whether she wants to charge or not. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
so
A lot of the time, and people can feel whatever way they want to feel about it. I'm okay with that change in the law, to be quite honest with
yeah.
you. I was like, this whole self guarding of the people that you're with or in relationships with and all that stuff. They're committing crimes no matter who they are to you. They're still
And then
committing
it's
crimes.
also, even if I know here in the state of Georgia, if there is mutual combat
Mhm.
and it's my word against yours, we ain't got no similar parts of the story.
Mhm.
If he said, she said, y'all just separating your corners. So nobody gets charged, nobody gets nothing. Because if somebody gets charged, both of y'all get charged.
Right.
Even though I could be defending myself, there's still mutual combat. And so that's why a lot of people don't say nothing either. Because it's like, I won't go to jail. Because if you go to jail, I go to jail. Or if nobody's going to get charged, what is the purpose of all of this?
Yeah. That the news that came down about, and mind you, it wasn't. He's a talent that was used a lot of the time for enhancement reasons on AEW television and things of that nature. It's not like he was a um, one of their mainline superstars and things. But yet again, he still worked there, and this was another black eye amongst other people, other talents that have worked for AEW over the years who have run into similar issues while they worked for AEW. I'm only talking about BJ Whitmore's thing in that particular sense because people bring up Darby Allen's relationship with his former girlfriend and stuff like that, but that was all rumor and stuff and
I
innuendo.
know
I don't
she
know any.
has spoke about it once, not like for a long period of time.
Mhm.
But if you go back and watch a lot of the interviews they had together, what a lot of the stuff he thinks is cool and funny
Yeah,
is very
it's not.
disturbing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's not.
disturbing.
But the point I was going to make was that he did that stuff was done that stuff that happened allegedly happened before he signed with AEW. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was, and I also found it super interesting a lot of the time after the fact, right? And this shows you, what I'm about to say shows you just how fragile and complicated the human condition is. Even after all that happened and she said what she said, you would see them together in social gatherings after the fact. And
You have no choice but when you're in social gathering with people who
but not like
have,
social gatherings in the sense of like parties. It's like intimate settings, like in other
yeah,
people's houses and
yeah.
things of that nature. And it's like,
When you're in an intimate situation like that and y'all are around, you have no choice but to let me try to explain it the best way possible. I work for a job. I don't like my boss,
hmm,
but to get along, I'm going to. We might be at a party. We might sit by side. You might see me joking. You be like, "Well, Dolores, you really like him?" No, I don't. I want to keep my job. I want to keep it cordial. I don't want to seem like a problem because if she spoke up and went against him or spazzed out on him in public for the things that happened, she would seem like a problem. He would seem like a victim. So you just,
no, it just, it always depends on the situation, I think.
I mean,
So
historically, if we're gonna keep it a book, a woman got shot in the foot and they blame her. That's how life is. We as women don't get the benefit of the doubt sometimes. It's just, oh, now you want to say something, now you want to complain. You was out there spazzing out. Then he'd be on TMZ or her screaming at him in his face at a party. So that's why now you just keep it cordial. We'll sit next to each other. We can speak to each other. I can say hey to you. We can, if there's a joke amongst the atmosphere, laugh. But doesn't mean I'm happy to be with you. Doesn't mean I like you. That just means I'm trying to progress what I have going on. Especially if we all got the same social group of friends. Friends don't care about what happens sometimes. They're like, oh, I've been friends with him for 7 years. I've been friends with you for 4 years. We gonna hang out. It's my birthday. And then we all sitting there and I'm looking at the person across the way going, I don't like you.
yeah, I think and fair assessment of scenarios that can transpire and happen, obviously, right? Because real life is real life. But at the end of the day, I think uh, reality is such, especially, and I'm speaking for myself because I handle things certain ways. Um, yeah, I don't deal with that bullshit. I don't do the whole. I'm going to be in a space with someone uncomfortably for the sake of. Like, now we ain't doing this no more. So I'm
We've
gonna.
had this conversation about I have been doing this YouTube thing for a long period of time. Open transparency. There are people who I know do not like me. They hate my guts. And yet they will say, hey, how you doing, Dolores? Hope all is well. Girl, how you doing? And I'm sitting on the other side of the computer like, since I know you don't like me.
I don't do all that mess,
But
man.
it's almost like a politician. You shaking hands and kissing babies even though you might not like kids. You out here just how you
For the
doing?
worst
How you
time.
doing? High five. Hi, good brother and good sister. That's how you doing because even at your job, you might not like 99% of the people, but you go in, you clock in, and you just, hey Jim, how you doing? I can't be like that too long because I end up, as J.News has seen, cussing people out. I can't do that. That's me. Okay. But
Find
some
another
people
way,
they
man.
can do that. They can cut that side of them off to get to where they need to be at.
Yeah, nah. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, basic human interaction is what it is, but it's like some stuff, and yet again, I'm just speaking about myself. Some stuff is just unnecessary at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But beyond that, mentioning what we were mentioning before in regards to the news that transpired and came up about one of those AEW talents and stuff. That was another stain on pro wrestling. So but people are going to be people at the end of the day. Doesn't make it right or wrong. It just is. So hopefully, like you said before, Dolores, the victim in the matter is able to move up, out, and beyond and forward
Yeah.
past
It's
everything that
difficult. It's difficult as a single woman to do that, but it's also difficult if you have kids involved because you still, no matter if you don't want to be around that person or not, courts make it hard for you to separate from people.
Yeah, no, no, I understand. Luckily, I think that there's no children involved in their
Yeah,
situation, so that's a good thing.
yeah,
And like you said, yes, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. So
yeah.
yeah,
So that's keep doing what you're doing. The laws are changing. Hopefully they keep the same way. Let's keep a knock on wood because things are rolling back. But keep it where you don't have to get involved. You don't have to take that ownership because sometimes you feel like you're ruining somebody's life, even though they ruined yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to AEW Dynamite. Dynamite. It took me a long time for me to say that, J News. It's been deep in my soul. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we had Dynamite 279 on the 5th, which is on TBS and HBO Max. Will Ospreay defeated Mark Davis. The Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, defeated the Hounds of Hell of Brody King and Buddy Matthews. We had Tony Storm defeat Queen Aminata. Ricochet defeated Swerve Strickland. Did you see any of this, J News? And what did you think?
I saw this live. I thought that this episode of Dynamite was great. Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis was an awesome match. The Hounds of Hell versus the Don Callis family was an awesome match.
Big meaty men.
So they did that. Tony Storm had another performance of a lifetime during her match with
Oh
Queen
my God.
Aminata.
And she was double cheeked up. Okay.
Yeah, it. I think
She made sure them shorts were extra short.
to be quite honest, I felt like she actually wore Mariah's gear.
She
Is what
did.
I felt
She did. She did.
like.
Except for Mariah can't fit it like that.
Yeah, so
She did.
that's that part of it. But I thought it was tremendous because she was actually able to mimic a lot of Mariah's move sets.
She did it. She did it a little extra though. The finger in the mouth when she stuck
Oh
her
yeah,
finger.
yeah, yeah.
Girl.
She was being extra with
Okay,
that.
sis, you doing
Yeah,
it too much.
but it works because she's tremendous. She has great comedic timing, and obviously she's a tremendous professional wrestler and stuff like that. And her to be able to copy and reproduce Mariah's in ring moves and stuff like
Oh,
that, and
and then
with the
sliding across the ring ropes and her
yeah,
leaning forward. I was like, listen,
it was fun, and mind you, it was a good shot for Queen Aminata as well,
yeah.
because she had another match against Tony Storm, and she looked good at the end of it all anyway. So cool for them to have that going on, and yeah, that was that. And then the Ricochet continues to evolve and transform himself into quite the character. With this feud with Swerve Strickland and stuff like that, and there's a lot of nuance in the building of the character, and him having his reactions to certain things. We'll talk about it when we get to collision as well. What Ricochet did there and his spot on Defy, because we have Defy on the card as well. So yeah, man, I think the work that has been going into the development of Ricochet's character, between being involved with Swerve and I, I don't know this for sure, but I just from the trend of it all, I have a feeling that Will Washington has his hands a lot in what's been going on with Ricochet and Swerve Strickland. Will Washington being one of the writers over at AEW. So cool for them to be able to progress and build Ricochet the way that they have been. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that about Dynamite.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor was Ring of Honor 102, which is you can find on ROHWrestling.com or their app. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Christian defeated Adam Priest. Griff Garrison and Preston Vance defeated Eli and Gabriel. Lee Johnson defeated John Davis for the ROH Women's World Title Proving Ground match. Athena defeated Carolina Cruz. Sammy Guevara defeated Mansoor. ROH Women's World Title match. Red Velvet defeated Robin Renegade. The Outrunners of Truth Magnum and Toy Boy Floyd defeated the Grizzle Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson. The Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and Eva Uno, the premier athletes of Ari Davari and Tony Nese. J News. You want to highlight anything on the ROH show?
Not necessarily. I think they're. I mean, the only thing that spoke to me, yet again, AEW even this week had quite the issues with spotlighting stuff on the socials when it came to ROH TV this week. So the only thing that I picked up on was Athena's return and her interaction with Billy Starks and things of that nature. So they're still continuing with that particular storyline there. Um, I didn't see Lexi anywhere near ROH. Lexi Nair, that
Oh,
is.
is it new or is it old? The things from the Jericho cruise.
That's new because that happened this week.
Yeah, yeah. She was there because uh what's his name? Bald
Big Bill.
headed. It was in the Jericho alliance at first. The learning tree.
What, Big Bill?
No, black. He he does the Macho Man.
Oh, Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal got down to propose to her as the Macho Man, and he kept calling her Elizabeth. And then the referee leaned over, like, she get married to Big Bill, and he like, Big Bill. And then he got up. He got up and was like, "Nah, nah, leave the ring. I don't want none of this." He he went from Macho Man to a regular black man in 2.2 seconds when the referee was like, "She get married to Big Bill." He was like, "Big Bill, hold on, wait a minute." He got up off his knees. He was like, "Hold on, you have to get out the ring. You have to go. I don't want none of that." I said, "Okay, yeah. See,
But yeah,
most of them that you don't see are on the cruise."
I mentioned that because it seems like they've floated Lexi Nair full time to Dynamite and Collision, and she's no longer doing ROH work because they had Alicia doing all the ROH, Alicia Atut doing all the ROH backstage stuff. And I know a couple of months ago, I haven't seen her since that day or since that those round of tapings. Brian Cage's wife, Melissa Santos, she was also signed to AEW/ROH, and
But
I
I
haven't.
thought what you call it was doing it.
Huh?
Bray Wyatt's wife.
No, she was doing ring. She was doing like per shot ring announcing, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen. I thought, and she wasn't signed to AEW/ROH proper. Melissa was, but I haven't seen her since those
Melissa,
first rounds of tapings a couple of months ago.
I don't
Um,
know if you know, but Melissa, how can I say that in a polite way? Melissa's mouth too slick, and then she constantly getting people in trouble. That's why she really hasn't had any opportunities. Also, Melissa is very hard on the red side of the political avenue, and she likes to let you know and talk to you. Talk. Some people you can talk to. Some people talk at you. Some people talk down to you,
mm.
and that's her opportunity.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. So thank you for
Yeah,
informing me about
and
that.
because she's also got him in trouble by running her mouth and saying things.
That I've been aware of. That I've been aware of, but I didn't know, the political stuff and the leaning stuff and all that. I wasn't aware of any of that.
Yeah,
But I know before she has said some things which has affected Brian in an immediate moment. But
so she's a good announcer. It's just
yeah, because
her mouth. And
she was
that's just like what's her name? Is it Shao Guerrero?
yeah, Eddie's daughter, one of Eddie's
Yeah,
daughters.
yeah. Her mouth too, and her political things too have caused people to. And then when that whole incident with the other daughter came out, that made her look even worse, and nobody wanted to take a part of that.
Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, I was trying to mention the backstage hands because a lot of the times we don't give credit to the backstage interviewers and how they make the shows flow. And I mentioned Lexi because she was such a big part of what ROH was doing with Athena and everything else and other acts as well. But it seems like they've just shifted her to prime AEW stuff.
Yeah, because she,
Um,
with her being, they try to keep couples within the same area.
mhm,
So Big Bill is since her and Big Bill, which I've heard her mention that she wants to like settle down, get married, have kids. That's the opportunity on the top tier of the where you can do those things and still you have a lot of people who can guide you through it on that level than down below. Because you got a lot of indie people, a lot of new people who haven't experienced that type of like working parent life.
Mm.
So that'll work out good for her. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to our last AEW show. Collision, ladies and gentlemen. Collision was Collision 80. It was on TNT. The Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, defeated Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Matt Menard, along with, they also beat the Shane Taylor Productions of Charlie Bravo, Shane Taylor, and Sean Dean. Bandito defeated Brian Keith. La Faction, listen, let's get it right. La Faction Ingoranabe, Jalistico Rouge, and the Beast Mortos defeated Alexander, Brick Savage, Jay Alexander. Dustin Rose defeats Easy James. Thunder Rosa defeated Penelope Ford. In a non-title match, Mariah May defeated Shay
Carmel.
Carmichael.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Kyle Fletcher defeated Mark Briscoe. Listen, when Shay got beat like that, I was like, should I really learn your name? Should I? No. J.News, how did you feel about last night and what happened?
I thought last night's episode of Collision was great.
Yeah.
They started off really, really hot. That triple threat, whatever 6-man thing. That match was crazy, and it was a lot of fun. We out of the match, we basically got the Undisputed Kingdom winning the match, and then eventually getting their chance and an opportunity at the trios champions of the Death Riders, because they had a small promo bit after the fact where the Death Riders came out after the match was over. They tried to beat down the Undisputed Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdom were able to thwart their attack, and then the Undisputed Kingdom, as in Adam Cole, got on the mic, and then he challenged those guys to a match on Dynamite this week. So we'll see that trios championship match on Dynamite between the Undisputed Kingdom and the Death Riders, which are Pac, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli. Bandito versus Brian Keith was an amazing match. Glad to see Bandito back. Glad to see Brian Keith bring back the bounty hunter, because that was a game professional wrestling in there. One of the more entertaining and silly but appropriate spots, the 10 paces duel to the corners, and then them kicking the crap out of each other, and Bandito just showing his strength, and Brian Keith just being able to do his hard hitting style and get the techers in here and there. This is what I expected to see out of Brian Keith by majority when he signed to AEW. Him getting stuck in this Chris Jericho vortex thing. I understand it's really more for the projection of his personality, and that he can
No.
prove that he can do some different things. But whether it works or not is another thing completely. And I don't feel like it's worked for Brian Keith at all. But this match proved to me that Brian Keith has a purpose to serve on AEW TV outside of what he's currently been doing with the Learning Tree stuff. The squash match with LFI, it was what it was. I think they missed the boat the first time with Roosh. I think they're trying to get it right this time. So post match, when the match was over, Roosh attacked one of the AEW officials, and there's something to be said about, there's a reason why the group and the leader of the group is called the Ungovernable One, El Ingobernable, uh, who is Roosh. And when you're ungovernable, that means that no one reins you in. No one is your boss. You do what you feel is best. You have no fear of authority. And that, to me, was highlighted by the fact that Roosh threw a forearm at one of the referees and knocked his ass out post match. So LFI is on the come up. I can appreciate that. Dustin Rhodes having a squash match, I understood it
I didn't
from
even.
a balance standpoint, but it's like, okay, whatever works. He's going into a match with Max on with MJF on Wednesday as well. Hopefully that goes well for Dustin, um, because it seems that they've pivoted from Jeff Jarrett to Dustin for MJF for whatever reason. I told one of my boys, I was like, it seems like they have MJF playing the Randy Orton card of the Legend Killer right now. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that continues to go. The Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford match worried me a little bit. Um, and a lot of folks, from what I read online, from different fans and commenters or whatever the case is, a lot of people had praise for the match. But when I was watching the match, because I watched the show after it aired, um, there were certain parts in the match that seemed clunky, and not because the girls weren't on good footing. It seems like either Thunder or Penelope got knocked loopy during the match, and they had to wait for one of them to get their bearings back during the match because the timing was just off at certain times during the match. But all in all,
Yeah, I would say more looking at it initially and then going off track history, I would say Penelope because Thunder Rosa has admitted before she's been knocked pure
yeah,
unconscious and still kept
but
wrestling.
both
And
they've both had their issues with concussions lately. So that's
yeah,
why I was like a
but
little scared.
Thunder Rosa is more like a. The best way to describe it, if you've ever seen Thunder Rosa on the Indies, she's like a Kenny Omega. She can rip her arm straight out of place and keep going. So I would expect that she she knocked herself loopy. She okay. It's Penelope that it probably knocked herself loose and was like, "Hey, what am I supposed to be doing after this?" And Thunder's like,
Yeah, I mean that's I understand your point of view. I feel like it happened to both of them during the match, which is why I thought the timing
"Yeah,
was off because it happened at two different points in the match. And I was like, it happened one time when Thunder was down and she was trying to recuperate, and then it happened another time when Penelope was down and she stayed down and then she tried to recuperate, and then she was trying to get her legs about her, and I was like, all right, the timing was a little off and it was a little shifty, and it didn't seem
yeah." Thunder does that whole
as
like,
cohesive as I thought it
"I
was.
can't get up. I there's no hope for me." She does that in
Yeah,
every
but
match.
it didn't
Penelope looked like she was just gently floating on cloud 49 and she couldn't get up.
it didn't seem well put together in that sense, which is why I was a little worried. The Mariah May match was another squash match, but she used that match in order to try to I guess scare or intimidate Tony Storm in a sense by using this girl who looked like Tony Storm to try to beat her up, and by all intents and purposes, we got uh, that particular plan did not work because we got the re-debut, the reappearance of Luther. He came back down to the ring with the bloody shoe, showed it to Mariah. Mariah tried to knock out Luther. That didn't necessarily happen. And when Mariah May, after winning the match, went back to pick up this poor girl that she had just beat up, she then noticed that the poor girl was gone. Tony Storm, with another performance of a lifetime, playing a dead body, then in the ring and running away Mariah May. I think that I didn't know what they were going to do with the weeks leading up to Grand Slam. I thought they did the Tony Storm the timeless Tony Storm reveal too soon, but they as an AEW and their writing team and their creative team have proved me wrong. I think that they've done a good job with the extra weeks with the story beats with Mariah May and Tony Storm going into Grand Slam Australia and stuff like that. And I appreciate the work that the girls are doing and how they've been able to set this up going into Australia. My only worry is post Australia and what happens to both of them after they they finish this feud. And the Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe match I thought was amazing. Mark Briscoe is one of the best baby faces in professional wrestling, and he shows you that every time he's in that ring. And Kyle Fletcher also shows you that he's the future of this industry every time he's in that ring. Um, I do have a sense and feeling that Mark Davis now being a part of the Don Callis family is it's there's a plan to play here. There is a plot that is trying to be unfurled here to destroy the Don Callis family from within. And I saw, at least me, I saw some suggestions of it during a promo that Kyle Fletcher was cutting earlier in the program. And I wanted to mention as well, because I mentioned this on Dynamite about Ricochet's character evolution. There was a spot, there was a promo spot that Ricochet did during Collision that involved one of my favorite rappers of all time, UGK for life, all day. Bum B made an appearance because Collision was in Houston. Bum B promoting Trill Burgers, best burgers in America at the end of the day. And Ricochet basically tried to down talk Bum B because Bum B seems to be close to Swerve Strickland. Then Ricochet, I'm paraphrasing here. Go out of your way to see the clip on YouTube. It's on there now. Ricochet went out of his way to get a bite of one of these Trill burgers, and I knew what was going to happen. I just wanted to see how Ricochet was going to go about it. And Ricochet took a bite of one of the Trill burgers. He then spit the Trill burger back out onto his plate. Told Bum B that the burgers are trash. Bum B was beside himself. The guy who served Ricochet the burger then told Ricochet, "Hey man, I don't know what your deal is. Like everyone really thinks these burgers are good." And then Rick snaps. He's like, "Who are you to talk to me?" Grabs the guy, starts to beat him up. Bum B breaks it up. And I'm there like, this is excellent. This is excellent because it makes, like, for me, he's a Weasley heel. He's a bad heel. He's a violent heel. Like he goes in and out of these spaces flawlessly now or whatever, and he's really putting everything together. He has Ricochet, that is, as a character, and I can appreciate that. And and how he's been able to put it all together in such a short span of time just shows me that there was a missed opportunity with him in the WWE, and a lack of creative vision with him. So thankfully AEW's been able to um uh pocket this in a sense for him for right now. He still the is he is he a great promo? No, but what he's doing character wise has worked in my estimation. So I wanted to bring that up during Collision because it happened, and I thought it was funny, but yet very poignant to what Ricochet is doing currently as a character on AEW TV.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I agree. I agree. Listen, sometimes me and J.News, we don't argue, we get along. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is TNA Total Nonstop Action. And we had Ace Austin defeat DuPont. We had the TNA Knockouts World Title #1 contendership battle royal. Savannah Evans defeated Alicia Edwards, Ash by Elegance, Danny Luna, Heather by Elegance, Jazz, Jody Threat, Rosemary, Tasha Steele, Zaya Brookside. And as you can see, how they were eliminated. Leon Slater and the Hardys defeated the System of Eddie Edwards, JD Moose. Mike Santana defeated Matt Cardona. For the WWE NXT Tag Team title match, Fraxium defeated Nick and Ryan Nemeth. Did you watch any of this, J News?
I did not.
Listen, it just was an okay show. Wasn't great, wasn't horrible, was just okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to Defy. Yes, hallelujah. Okay, let me tell you about Defy because I had a good old time. Hey, it was the 508-year anniversary. Okay, let's go on to the show itself, ladies and gentlemen. It was on 2/7, which was Friday, on Triller TV. The five tag team title, six-man tag ladder match. It was the Sovereign defeating Los Desperados, ladies and gentlemen. The Bollywood Boys, yes, I said that right. The Bollywood Boys are back. They defeated C4. Nick Wayne defeated Marcus Mathers. For the Defy Women's title match, Marina Shafir defeated Zamaya. I think that's how they pronounced it. Seattle Street Fight special referee Aubrey Edwards, Paul Walter Hauser defeated Joey Janela. American Guns defeated Midnight Heat for the Defy World Tag Team, not tag, tag title, not tag, world title. Sorry, the sleep is kicking in, and I got to get back up in a minute. My boy, the one, the only, Ricky Starks is the new Defy World Champion. He beat that sleepy man Kenta. J News, did you happen to hear or see any clips from this?
Only thing that came up to me about this show were a few matches, right? First, the Nick Wayne versus Marcus Mathers match, from what I understood, was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it seemed to be, at least from what Marcus Mathers projected online, it seemed to be like a very important match for him career wise, to go up against Nick Wayne or whatever the case is. So I don't know if that was just more having to do with the storyline going into the match or whatever the case is, but it seemed like it was a very important match to Marcus Mathers. Marina Shafir against Zamaya. Basically, Marina Shafir is the she's the Defy Women's champion for a reason, because Marina Shafir can kick somebody's ass legitimately, and she's also decent to good in the ring. And she had a good showing here against Zamaya. Zamaya had a good showing against Marina Shafir. I saw clips of that on there as well. And the last match that I had anything that came up on the radar was Ricky Starks versus Kenta, and I was surprised at the outcome, because Kenta had been the Defy World Champion for almost 2 years. So there's that of it, and I also wanted to mention, because I mentioned this during us discussing Dynamite and Collision. There was a segment of the show in which Ricochet came out to talk to the Seattle faithful, Seattle, Washington being AKA Swerve's home base, Defy being the company that gave Swerve the opportunities
Yes.
to help hone his craft. Ricochet came out there to diminish and downplay Seattle as a town, and then also tried called out Swerve, thinking that Swerve wasn't going to be there. Swerve makes his grandiose appearance after the lights go out. They go at it for a bit, or whatever the case is. Ricochet pokes Swerve in the eye, gets out of the ring, thinks he's in the clear. Here comes Prince Nana out of the entranceway, throws Ricochet back into the ring. Swerve then going back at Ricochet. Prince Nana gets back into the ring, or whatever the case is. They try to team up on Ricochet. Ricochet pushes Prince Nana into Swerve and gets away with a scratch on his body, keeping the jacket on. With taking the jacket being a very important piece of embassy history, in akin to Jimmy Rave and the history of Prince Nana in professional wrestling. And it is basically something that is being used to drive the storyline. And Ricochet keeps the jacket, and he is able to escape the wrath of Swerve Strickland uh, to this point. So it seems like they're continuing the Swerve versus Ricochet um, storyline probably into the next major pay-per-view, which is going to be Revolution. And I'm looking forward to that. It'll probably be some sort of a stipulation match. We don't know as to what it's going to be yet, but I am eagerly anticipating to see how they continue to evolve this story between Swerve and Ricochet. So I just wanted to mention that, because it continued on here on the Defy show.
Yes. J News, I'm gonna need you immediately for the first tag team name on MLW's Super Fight 6.
Mhm.
Okay? I had to watch that. It was on YouTube yesterday.
All right, Superfly 6. First match was a lucha match versus Esfinge and Templario as a tag team, defeating El Sky team of Máscara Dorada and Místico.
See, look, I had the second team, the first team. And when they said it, J News, I literally was up here on YouTube like, well, wind back. What you say? What you say? You know I'm gonna let J News say that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Kenta defeat Kevin Knight. We had a honey trap match where Paul London defeated Brett Ryan Gosselin. Donovan Dijak defeated Tom Lawler. Janai Kai defeated Mila Moore. We had for the MLW World Heavyweight title a three-way match where Matt Riddle kept his championship against Alex Kane and Satoshi
Kojima.
Kojima.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Listen, I be trying, J. I be
Mhm.
trying. Quick note after this match, uh, because Alex Kane had already peed off what's his name? Eric Bischoff.
Mm.
Uh, and then now Matt Riddle is on his P list. He missed him up. Um, so now Riddle will have to go into Battle Riot and defend his championship, I think, against 39 other men.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
Yes, yeah. That was a lot. That was like, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we about to get to New Japan right about now, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time for the main event of J.News, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all didn't come to see me. Y'all come to see J.News. And here he come with the New Japan.
We are talking about the road to New Beginning, as New Beginning is slated for Osaka on February 11th. These are the Road 2 shows, as in the house shows that take place. This particular show took place on the 3rd of February, which was last Monday. It was Katsuyori Murashima defeating Masatori Yasuda. Hiroshi Tanahashi went up against Daiki Nagai. They went one-on-one there. Daiki Nagai seems to be the standout young lion for right now. Murashima has some flares here and there. Yasuda's still newer, but Daiki Nagai seems to be standing out of the young lions. Shota Umino and 6 or 9 Master Wato and Ryu Kikuchi defeated the United Empire's Francisco Akira Great Khan and Jacob Austin Young. Los Ingobernables de Japón. Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeated the Great Bash Heels of Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma. Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors and Sonata defeated Just Four Guys, Tai Chi and Taka Michinoku by DQ. Low blows fair there. Bullet Club War Dog members Drew Maloney and Gabe Kidd, along with Taiji Ishimori, defeated Los Ingobernables Japon's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji. We continue to build the match between Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd. Their specific one-on-one. Drew Maloney seems to be on his way to being a singles competitor in the never openweight division as he's transitioned himself into being a heavyweight. So we're seeing that. And Taiji Ishimori is still one of the stalwarts in the junior division, doing his work there. Chaos members Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Yo, and Yoshihashi, along with El Desperado, defeated TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. And then for the NJPW World Television title, no count-out match, we had El Phantasmo, the champion, defeating Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb had some comments after this particular show, basically stating whether or not he knows if he's going to stay with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because it doesn't seem like he has any which way or direction into the future. On the 4th of February, we had Daiki Nagai and Togi Makabe defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi and Katsuyori Murashima. This was a precursor match to Tanahashi's match versus Makabe at Osaka that's happening. That was that match there. The United Empire's Francisco Akira, the Great Okan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb defeated El Phantasmo Jado, Master Wato, and Shota Umino. I believe this is the one that happened on the 4th. I believe after this particular match, the Great Okan, this is where the Great Okan took a pair of scissors and cut some hair off of Shota Umino's head. They're leaning into their particular feud. I'm not gonna sit here and diminish Shota Umino. I just feel like he should be doing more than what he has been. And hopefully this particular feud with the Great Okan steers him in a different direction that will shed a better light on Shota Umino. Los Cinco Bananas Japón, Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeated Oleg Boltin and Tomoaki Hanma. Bullet Club War Dog Sonata and Taiji Ishimori defeated Just Four Guys, Taichi and Taka Michinoku via DQ. We then had the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, Daryl Maloney, and Gabe Kidd versus Los Cinco Bananas Japon's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji. That ended in a double countout. That was a wilder match I wasn't expecting. On the fourth, Chaos members Roki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi defeated TMDK's Harley Jackson, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. And then the best match of the Road 2 shows so far that I have witnessed, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. El Desperado defeated the young punk Kosei Fujita in what was a fantastic match to end that show. Kosei Fujita is definitely the future of the junior division for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then we go on to the sixth. We had the legendary Tiger Mask defeat Katsuya Murashima. Los Cinco Bananas Japón, Hiromu Takahashi, and Tetsuya Naito defeated Daiki Nagai and Tomohiro Ishii. House of Torture members Rin Narita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oleg Boltin, Rei Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. United Empire's Francisco Akira, Great Khan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb defeated El Desperado, El Fantasma Jado, and Shota Umino. Just to mention, Francisco Akira post Kosei Fujita's match on the 4th came out basically to stake his claim in the junior division as a singles wrestler up against El Desperado. And he will be challenging El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship come the anniversary show in March. So these particular matches here, where you see Francesco Akira on the opposing side of El Desperado, will be the quote-unquote practice matches for the lead in to their one-on-one for the anniversary show. The Bullet Club War Dog matches. We had Clark Connors and Sonata as a tag team defeat Just Four Guys, Taichi and Taka Michinoku. We then had Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori defeat LIJ of Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji. Then we had TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Go over the Chaos faction members, Roki Goto, Yo, and Yoshihashi, along with Master Wato and Tomoaki Hanma. We then had the matches on the 7th. We had Tiger Mask defeating Daiki Nagai. LIJ members Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeated Katsuya Murashima and Tomohiro Ishii. House of Torture members Ren Narita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oleg Boltin, Reisuke Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. Just to mention, folks, if you do watch and are fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling and you're wondering as to what is going on with House of Torture member Evil, it seems like Evil's contract has expired and Evil is no longer with the company. We don't necessarily know if this is just a storyline thing or if it is real. People are leaning on the side of this is real. So Evil is no longer with New Japan, and it seems that he is no longer the leader of the House of Torture, and he is no longer involved in any of those particular storylines. So just to make you aware of that. United Empire match here, Francesco Akira, the Great Khan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb defeated El Desperado, El Fantasma Jado, and Shota Umino. Bullet Club War Dog tag team of Sonata and Taiji Ishimori defeated Just Four Guys, Taichi and Taka Michinoku. Taichi and Sonata will be going one-on-one at Osaka. It seems not that it seems there is a huge grudge between the two of them. Low blows all around between Sonata and Taichi just because they really hate each other at this point. Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and Gabe Kidd defeated LIJ members Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji yet again to make a point about the fearless leader of the Bullet Club War Dogs, a.k.a. David Finlay. He hasn't been around as of late either. His New Japan contract expired as well. There has been rumblings and rumors and innuendo that he will be joining the WWE sometime soon. Who knows? I have never been a fan of David Finlay, the character, the leader of the War Dogs. I know he's a tremendous in-ring competitor and talent. I gave him all his respect on the True Heel Heat podcast, but I am now back. If this holds to be true, I am now back on the boat of pure and utter hatred towards David Finlay because he did not do what all the other Bullet Club leaders have done over the years, which is take the stab. Me saying take the stab, meaning get your ass beat out of the Bullet Club, hang it up, and then go where you need to go, because it happened to AJ Styles. It happened to Kenny Omega. It happened to Jay White. They all got beat out and beat down before they left. They did business. And in this case, David Finlay has yet to do business. Outside of the fact that he lost the match to Suji, he still needed to get his ass beat by Bullet Club members in order to get the expulsion, and he didn't do that. So that to me shows just a lack of respect and importance to the Bullet Club there. And people will try to put this on New Japan Pro Wrestling, but you got to do business to do business. And he avoided that. But to end the show, TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Rohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Hiroki Goto, Yo, and Yoshihashi of Chaos, along with Master Wato and Tomoaki Hanma. We then go to what happened this morning. We had Tiger Mask defeating Katsuya Murashima. LIJ members Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeating Daiki Nagai and Tomohiro Ishii. House of Torture members Ren Narita Show, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi go up against and defeat Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oleg Boltin, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. United Empire members Francesco Akira, Great Okan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb defeat El Desperado, El Fantasmo, Jado, and Shota Umino. Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors and Sonata defeat Just Four Guys and Taichi and Taka Michinoku. The other Bullet Club War Dog members Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori defeated LIJ members Bushi, Shingo's Kage, and Yota Tsuji. And then we had the Chaos faction together, Hiroki Goto, Yo, and Yoshihashi, along with Master Wato and Tomoaki Hanma, defeat members of TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the previews, but you get to still stay with J.News one more time. I say, give me. Oh, wait a minute. Went too far. There we go. Went too far with. There we go. 31. That was today. Oh, let's start off with me first. Oh, boo. Y'all get to hear me for a little bit. WWE, ladies and gentlemen, will be having Vengeance Day. Before we talk about Vengeance Day, I am going to be talking about there are 2 shows on the 15th that your sister Kate will be covering because I will be having to watch along for WWE Vengeance Day and AEW Grand Slam Australia. As you all see, it's already pre-scheduled. It is Dolores' Grand Vengeance happening on the 15th. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start out with Vengeance Day by WWE. You'll have Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. It'll be on Peacock. Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. For the WWE NXT Women's North American title match, Fallon Henley versus Stephanie Vaquer. For the WWE Women's title triple threat match, we have Julia versus Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. For the WWE NXT title triple threat match, Oba Femi versus Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller. Ladies and gentlemen, on to AEW that's happening on the same day is AEW Grand Slam Australia. You can generally find it on pay-per-view, or you can find, oh, not pay-per-view. It's not the pay-per-view. It's TNT. On TNT, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Brisbane Brawl match where Cope and Jay White versus the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley. For the AEW Continental title match, Kazuchika Okada versus Buddy Matthews. For the AEW Women's World title, we have Mariah May versus Toni Storm, and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay versus the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Now, you get to hear the good stylings of J.News.
We're going to be talking about New Beginning in Osaka happening on February 11, 2025, which is this coming Tuesday. We have the card as follows. It's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi, the president, versus Togi Makabe. Shingo Takagi is going to go one-on-one versus Drilla Maloney. The Great Okan is going to go one-on-one against Shota Umino. And then Taichi is going to go one-on-one against Sonata. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. We're going to have Ichiban Sweet Boy, the champions, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, go up against Roppongi Revice of Rocky Romero and Yo. The Night of our Openweight title match is going to have the champion, Konosuke Takeshita, go one-on-one against Oleg Boltin. The IWGP Tag Team title match was going to have the Young Bucks, the champions, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, go up against LIJ members Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito. The IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship title match was the semi-main event. It's going to have the champion currently. Yota Tsuji go one-on-one versus the Lightning Rod and seems to be face of New Japan Pro Wrestling right now, Gabe Kidd. And then for the IWGP World Heavyweight title match, we're going to have the champion Zack Sabre Jr. go one-on-one against Hiroki Goto, the legend and veteran of New Japan.
Yes, 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 J News. Now it's my turn. Yay! We're talking GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, that hardcore wrestling. And we also gonna mention the man that J News just talked about. Because we're gonna be at the Jersey Cup. And this is gonna be night one. Okay? So it's on the 15th also. Again, pray for me. I'll be watching too much wrestling. We'll have Homicide versus the man mentioned before, Gabe Kidd. For Jersey J Cup first round three-way match, we have Marcus Mathers versus Jack Cartwheel versus Jackson Drake. For the first round match, we have Cole Radrick versus Alec Price. For another first round match, we have Kevin Knight versus Leon Slater. For the non-title Jersey Cup, because Masha Slamovich is the champion. First round match, it'll be Amazing Red versus Masha Slamovich. I cannot wait for that.
Quick
Ladies,
mention, because you have here on the Jersey J Cup match, the second and last match, Kevin Knight versus Leon Slater. Kevin Knight was also a New Japan talent who let his New Japan contract expire as well. So as of right now, Kevin Knight is a free agent, which is why we're seeing Kevin Knight float around the U.S. Indies as much as he's been floating around. I believe Kevin Knight to be a great young talent in the wrestling scene. I hope that he gets a bigger platform to perform on and show us his talents. So keep an eye on Kevin Knight into the future.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the review and the preview. Now it's time for the spotlight. Let me get out the way because you know what's happening. It's time for J News to give you his spotlight of the week. Take it, J News.
All right, folks. So yeah, this week I decided to go with the spotlight of the week with the wrestler that had to me the match of the week. And for me, it was Kosei Fujita of TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel, the Japanese young punk. Kosei Fujita continues to impress every time he's in a New Japan ring. This week was his title shot against El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and they put on one of the better matches of 2025. So if you guys haven't watched it as of yet, go on to NewJapanWorld.com and take your time to watch that match between Kosei Fujita and El Desperado. Kosei Fujita, only 23 years old, so there's only a bright future ahead for Kosei Fujita. Lots of things to like about Kosei Fujita. Not only his in-ring wrestling style, but his machinations outside of the ring. It seems to be that Kosei Fujita is one creative young man, and he goes about things in a very in his own way, should I say? So. Shouts to Kosei Fujita there. I wanted to give him the spotlight this week just because he had that great match, and he continues to impress as his career continues to flourish in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for J News. I'm gonna give you all two Chat GPT quotes for J News because I got two of them and I thought they were both hilarious. So we're gonna start off with the first one, and the first one was J News the truth, y'all. Y'all better stop playing and go and check him out. I'm sorry, I had to laugh at it. This is J News the truth, y'all. Y'all better stop quit playing and go check out J News. That's the first one. Okay, I'm gonna let J News go through his whole thing. The second one had me laughing even further. Okay, so you thought that was funny. Wait till we get to the second. J News.
Okay, but so as usual, folks, thank you for tuning in and watching and chiming in here on the chat. We are here on the Hit the Ropes podcast every Sunday. Uh, Things might change, might be changing schedule wise. I have to have a couple of conversations with Dolores going forward as work begins to rev up for me. outside of doing the podcast here on Hit the Ropes. We'll still be on Sundays, but the time might just change, folks. So just be aware of that. And we'll come out with some official news sometime down within the next week or two. And we now have our own link tree for the Hit the Ropes podcast, folks. So pay attention to that. We have a QR code here next to me. We have our socials now, which Dolores was great enough to set up. And we also have our email address that we have set up for the Hit the Ropes podcast. So for anyone interested in collaborating and things of that nature, and you can always reach out to us via email or just send us, messages via the socials, and we'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible. As Dolores always allows me to do, spotlight myself for a bit. So I am the good brother J.News, aka John L., your friendly neighborhood moviegoer. Your friendly neighborhood moviegoer didn't even see a movie in January, folks. And that is mostly due to things out of my control. I am going to try to get back into the swing of things here in February, and make that content that I promised that I would make at the beginning of this year in 2025. So look out for my podcast. It's in my link tree, my podcast feed. It allows you to listen to my podcast on wherever you listen, whatever distributor you listen to podcasts on, be it a Spotify, be it a Spotify, be it Apple Podcasts, be it YouTube Podcast, Amazon Music, you name it, I'm on it, man. So just search up John L., your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, and I'll be on there. I also write reviews on letterbox.com. So just look up John L. YFNMG, and you'll be able to find me there via the members tab on Letterbox. And also I appear on True Heel Heat to talk everything New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you can check me out on the True Heel Heat podcast and YouTube channel. We just did a New Beginning preview that's up on the True Heel Heat podcast channel on the YouTube that we did that live stream on Friday. We'll be live again on Wednesday to do the review of New Beginning, and then we will go on from there to do the previews and reviews for the anniversary show, Fantastica Mania, and everything else that'll be coming down the pike for New Japan. So as always, folks, much appreciate y'all tuning in and commenting as you do. And thank you as always. Now on to Dolores.
J.News be quick to be like, Dolores up next. I'm like, sir, just revel in your glow, okay? Just revel in your glow. And the second one was J.News is lit. Don't sleep on him. Go check him out.
Okay. All right. That's Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Okay.
They actually, behind the scenes, I'll show you because I don't want to put her voice out there. But uh, if you talk to her, ask her to speak slang or hood, she'll be like, sis, and she'll just go into it. You be like, okay.
I didn't know there was a. I don't use the AI that's out there.
It's
I
very beneficial. For me, if anybody knows me, because Jay News knows me good enough, I have a million ideas that I could just throw out there, and I can't figure out how to quite organize all 99,000 of them. And so now that helps me, like, wait, you need to do this first, that first, this first. Puts it in order, helps me out. Also, if you ever just want your mind needs a break, let you tell it what you wanted to know. It'll tell you. It's even gotten to the point where now you can set a grocery budget and tell them what you can and cannot eat, and they'll make a grocery list for a specific store. So, recipes and all. So, listen, ain't nothing there. And that's on the free version. I ain't even tapped in the $20 version. I'm assuming if I get over there, it's going to be ugly. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, it's my time to go. I sound so sad when I say that. But here I am. Here I am. Here I am. How do you do? Hi. I am Dolores. I'm just a pink girl in my pink world here on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you all have been here before. 14 days, I will be doing Dolores Loves You, the gift guide to Valentine's Day through Canva. We're on day 9. I will be uploading day 10 before tomorrow, which it comes out 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day for 14 days. Also, ladies and gentlemen, notable Black History figures will be coming out every single day in February at 10:45 a.m. on the post, which used to be the community tab. Don't forget that on my channel. Today, you saw me here at 1 p.m. Eastern with J.News. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, you will see me live again. But this time, there's a kicker. I will be live for the Super Bowl, just like we were last year. If you all don't know, I'm a big sports fan and I love football. So I will be live for that. I will try to mute myself hard enough and not dance long enough because I love me some rap music and I love me some Kendrick. Okay? So just make sure you hold on for me for that. We will be playing bingo, maybe some other games, but this is the kicker. I did a giveaway last year. Not last year, last month. This month, I am going to be giving away my professional services as far as helping you with your channel, helping run your channel, make an intro and outro, a thumbnail, showing you something, having a one-on-one meeting. Those will be listed for you all to win on the channel. Okay. So if you win something on bingo tonight, you might have a chance to win a one-on-one meeting with me where I can help you. You ain't got to pay. It's free because that's something that I've seen a lot of people mention lately is that we need help. We need you to show us how to do it. Can you help? We need it. And so I want to be able to do it. So if you come in tonight, have a good time, play some games, win a chance to get a prize on the wheel to help you benefit either your channel, your business. Listen, or you can forward it to somebody you know in the community who really needs the help. Okay. And then we'll get back to the monetary giveaways and all the things. Those things are definitely going to still be happening. But we just know that I've seen a lot of people in the community who need the help, and I want to be able to give them opportunity to win. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody who needs a little help, graphic or business wise. Hit your girl up because I got them if they can win tonight. Okay. Also, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let me show you my schedules. Okay, so again, 6:30 tonight, you'll be here with me as we watch the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl halftime. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, Dolores' Raw Reaction. Now, you remember tonight is the Super Bowl showdown with Dolores. Monday is the Dolores' Raw Reaction. Next week on the 15th, which I think is a Sunday, it is Saturday or Sunday. It is uh, Dolores' Grand Vengeance with Vengeance Day from WWE and AEW Grand Slam all in one night. So we will be playing games. We will be talking. We'll be having fun. We'll be doing a watch along because I know everybody in my community is not wrestling fans, but they love to support, and I want them to have a good time while they're here. If you need, like I said before, I am Dolores of Dolores Designs. Make sure you hit your girl up. I'm also now starting to help people design merch. So if you are a person who is trying to get into merch, Canva is now connecting to Spotify, not Spotify, Shopify, and some other places where you can easily transition your graphics over to another thing. Listen, I've been up all night setting this up, and then now I got to stay up all day. This is my QR code to my link tree. This is how you can reach me. If you want to scan it right now, you can. Uh, but if you want a quicker way and you like, I'm not all that scanning type of person, you can reach me at this phone number and at this email. This is the best way to reach me at. This is the back of my business card, ladies and gentlemen. So if that's how you want to reach me, you can. Remember, 6:30. So it should be with 3.5 more hours. We'll be back here for Super Bowl showdown with Dolores as we watch the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Eagles. J.News, who do you got? Who do you got, J.News?
Oh, I don't have a dog in this fight. I
I don't have a dog, but it's fun to
I,
figure it out.
I saw. I was last week. I mentioned to Ten that for all intents and purposes, because of my love and my fandom of Saquon Barkley, I hope that Saquon Barkley uh, does what he's been doing all season, and he just runs roughshod all over the Kansas City Chiefs, and he does the damn thing, and he wins himself a Super Bowl, so he can go out there and prove that dumbass general manager of the Giants wrong. Because I'm still on that, and I'm not going to
I
hold on
just want to ask if I could catch
until
him.
he wins the
I
Super
know
Bowl.
he ain't gonna go in early, but if I could catch him at some time during the next few weeks and just ask when Romeo and them were laughing at Aaron Rodgers had left the Packers, how y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? How you doing? Because you ain't doing good. We try to tell you stop. Listen, when the Packers let go of people, we let go of people for a reason. Stop picking that trash up. Every time y'all pick a trash, Cowboys picked up the coach. Look what happened. Now, the Jets had to pick up Rodgers. Look what happened. Stop. Listen, sometimes trash can't be fixed on the side of the road. Okay? Let it stay out there. But y'all picked it up. And y'all made the biggest mistake of all time. And now it's working out in your favor. It kind of feels like when we let go of Brett Favre. Hmm. Don't know that feeling. Uh, Listen, I enjoy every time we bounce back quickly. And we'll bounce back next year. Because as I said, on my intro of my channel, you see me scream, "Go Pack Go" for the rest of my life. Okay? Go Pack Go. Uh, but tonight I'm gonna root for the Eagles because I love 10. And they beat us. So if you beat us, you gotta be good. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, with all of that being said, go check out J News. We talked about going checking out me. Now go check out us at the Hit the Roast Podcast. You can also find our links in there. Hit the Roast Podcast. Mainly, we want access everywhere. But if we could, we would like you all to check us out on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. That will be the greatest thing ever because that's a start to kind of getting us into the algorithm to get us moving. Because everybody's getting paid, J News. I just found out yesterday. I'm eligible to get monetized on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. I never checked that. I never, I never checked that. It was a shocker to me. I was like, I ain't did nothing wrong. Um, to the people over at the Clock app, thank you. Rambo Green Hands. Let me go back over there. I saw him over there. Um, trying to see if there were anybody else over there. So Rambo Green Hands. For everybody who's came and dropped in, thank you so much. Facebook, um, me and J News' channels. Thank you. We really appreciate you all so much. But now it's time for me to get my spiel. Let me yeah, it's like a singer. You have to clear your throat to get ready for this, J News. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you coming out tonight. But J News, God dog, J News is getting hot in this piece. I don't know why at the end of every show. It's because we spend that hot fire. I think that's what it is. That I just be burning. Okay? All on the inside, just all on the inside, J News. And it ain't no menopause or nothing. It's just every show, it gets so hot in here that we don't spit that hot fire in professional wrestling news from indies to majors to around the world. It's like we leaving a blaze. And then I just get hot, J News. But you know what I know what to do? It's time to cut the lights out, J News. Oh, J News, it got a little cool breeze just wafting up in here. You see what I'm saying? But you know what, baby girl, baby boy? I cut the lights out so you can keep your clothes on. Don't nobody want to see all that. Okay? So until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send you another adieu. Peace.